the problems that you solve, the more valuable you are to your company, your organization, whatever it is. And that problem should always be looked at as an opportunity for you to grow. And if you solve bigger and bigger problems, you will grow and grow and grow. And I can't ever forget that.
Do I use the problem-solving formula? Absolutely. Almost every day, because that's what I get presented with, is problems.
Being able to use those tips to figure out, to value them, to apologize to them, to listen to them, to solve their problem. What can we do to make this right? That's key, because we are going to have people who are upset for a variety of different reasons. It doesn't have to be our fault, it doesn't have to be their fault.
The first step of the problem-solving formula is to understand the problem. And when we understand the problem, we clearly define it, we clearly understand what it is and what it isn't.
You can only solve a problem if you know what the problem is.
I really concentrate on what is their problem and let them talk. I have a tendency to solve it before I hear it.
I think the biggest challenge is really identifying what the issue is and getting the person to admit that it truly is the issue.
I often jump to the solution. The customer won't even get the problem out before I've already come up with a way to fix it.
The second step of the formula is to identify the cause of the problem. Theoretically, every problem has a certain cause.
Find out the cause of the problem, and rather than to put a Band-Aid on it, is basically you want to find out what the cause is, identify the cause, and try to eliminate the cause, and therefore you resolve the problem.
Always important to ask the question behind the question, really listening to what they're initially coming at you with, and then listening for certain key words, phrases, whatever it might be, and then asking those follow-up questions for more information.
And I don't think we tend to ask enough questions to be sure that we are identifying the real problem.
The third step of the problem-solving formula is to discuss possible solutions. When we discuss possible solutions, we get our customers involved in it. We get their ideas about what ways we could solve the problem.
I would say I was a pretty good problem solver, but usually it was, one-sided. I would say, this is what we need to do to the customer.
And then we try to solve the problem together, never alone, but together.
There are huge benefits to be gained by involving the customer within that process, because the customer, if you're able to, at some point in the situation with them, to be able to offer them a choice to say, you know what, Mr. Customer, there's really two things we can do for you right now. We can do this or we can do this. Which would you rather do?
It makes me feel better about myself because I'm offering options.
The fourth step of the formula is to solve the problem. And that is to reach an agreement, to come to a consensus as to what's the best solution for this, to come to an agreement about what's going to cause the customer to be happy.
Asking the customer if they're satisfied with the solution that I've come up with, or asking what would they like to see, or how can we fix this. And I don't think I did any of those things before the program.
If you solve their problem immediately or ask them how they would like the problem solved and you do that for them, they are much more likely to continue doing business with you. And then if you make sure that problem never happens again.
It's not the mistake that you made that people will dwell on. It's how you handle this mistake that they will look at. What are you going to do to correct it?
And in fact, from the class, I learned to follow up. And I followed up with her and said, did everything get worked out with you and your manager? Do you understand why this happened? And she was very grateful and thankful on how we ended up handling it. It didn't look like it was going to go that way at first, but it ended up great.
Continue to solve people's problems. Continue to see that as an opportunity for you to learn more, gain confidence, and grow in your position, and you will do very well in your organization.